Welcome to the Powerline Podcast, the official podcast of Greystone Power. I'm your host, Emily Young, and today we're talking about how Greystone works to power communities globally. So, let's get started on episode 36 of the Powerline Podcast. Recently, we had a couple linemen return from Guatemala, where they joined other linemen from electric co-ops across Georgia to bring power to a village. At Greystone, we strive to give back to the communities that we serve, and sometimes we have the opportunity to serve in other communities outside of our service territory. Demonstrating the cooperative principle of concern for community is at the heart of everything that we do. Today, we'll be speaking with Jason, Amaya, and Jake Rangel, the linemen who worked on this amazing project. They can tell you a little more about their experience and how we're working to make life better in the communities we serve. Hi guys, welcome to the podcast. So you just got back from Guatemala. Had either of you been there before?
Hi, I'm Jason, Amaya. I've never been to Guatemala. I'm from a country below it in Honduras.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Jake Rangel. I'd never been out of the country until this trip. It was a really cool experience.
The native language in Guatemala is Spanish. Do either of you speak Spanish? If not, was the language barrier ever an issue?
Yeah, I speak Spanish fluently. The only problem I had was they spoke a native language. It was Quechua. It's one of the 22 minor languages there.
I don't speak Spanish, so it was rather difficult as far as the language barrier goes, but having Jason along with me who spoke Spanish really helped out.
That's great that you guys were able to be there for each other. You were part of the Sesatul electrification project. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, it was a 17-day trip building lines in the north-central part of Guatemala for a village of Sesatul. This is located in the Alta Verapaz department, which has a population approximately of 760,000 people. The project provided power to 90 households in the region. I think we built 2.7 miles of primary wire and neutral wire and about a mile and a half of secondary wire. And I think we wired about 96 total houses by the end of the trip.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Is there a larger grid that this project was connecting to, or where is the electricity being generated from?
So there was existing lines that 2.7 miles away from the village that we were building to, and that's where we connected to. And they're more or less like a cooperative like we are. They're member owned, and they have guys there, linemen there that tend to those lines, and we built the lines for them, and they'll tend to them when we're gone.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty fascinating that Georgia's EMCs and Greystone are able to help others even outside their service area. How did it feel knowing you were able to help underserved communities?
I don't know. It was one of the best feelings I've had out there, or being out there. Just looking at the people's faces as they smiled once we did get them on. It was a wonderful feeling, for sure.
Oh, that's great. How did the local people react to the work that was being done?
They were thrilled, to say the least. And everyone, if they could help, they helped. Didn't matter what it was, whether it was pulling wire, whether it was cutting down a tree that was in our way. And they were happy to help, smiling all the time. They were real good people.
Yeah, there was, I couldn't tell you how many people. There was, I want to say hundreds of people out there in the middle of the road holding traffic up, like you said, putting trees in the middle of the road just to hold traffic back for us. But it was very interesting seeing that, how people wanted to help and how grateful they were for us to be there.
That's really great that you guys were able to connect like that. What would you say the most memorable part of the trip was?
It was probably right at the end when we were making everything hot. Just seeing the first light turn on, just seeing how happy people were. Just I've never seen a smile so big in my life. Just seeing somebody that has never had power ran to their house or just power in general, that's probably the most memorable thing from the whole trip.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. So this project was sponsored by the NRECA International Fund, which has been helping people worldwide get access to safe, reliable electricity since 1962. Would you guys be interested in serving on another project like this again in the future? Or what would you tell someone who is considering being part of this type of project?
I would absolutely do it again and again and again. Like Jason said, the day we turned all the power on and you got to see them their reactions to their lights being turned on and then being able to plug stuff in. And it's a feeling that's unmatched to anything I've ever experienced. And for anyone who decides that they want to do that one day too, can go down there or go anywhere to bring power to someone who doesn't have it, be prepared. It's a massive culture shock to see a community that doesn't have the things that we have. And it's really going to touch your heart when you see how grateful somebody is.
Yeah, I would agree with Jake. I would recommend anybody to do it. I would for sure do it again. Just be ready for the heat, the animals, the bugs. But, it was all worth it at the end.
That's really great that you guys got that opportunity. Thanks for coming to tell us about it. Okay, so we always ask everybody the same last question. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our members?
We appreciate y'all being patient with us in the storms and all. I wish that y'all could see what we got to see down there. Taking pictures just kind of gives you a small glimpse into it. But it was one of the best experiences of my life, and I'd go back in a heartbeat to help somebody just the same as I love to help y'all.
For me, it would probably be just, how appreciative I am of what we have here in this country versus compared to a country like Guatemala. Just be grateful for what you have and what we all have here.
Unfortunately, we're all out of time for today's episode. Aww. Make sure to check us out on social media and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, available on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us for episode 36. We'll catch you next time on the Powerline Podcast.